What is up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome back to another Sweetbitter After Show. Today we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 5, Entropy. We're talking tips and we're talking tits. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Tips and tips!
Tips and tips.
Jimmy!
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another very lively Sweetbitter After Show. I'm so excited to be back with you guys.
Yeah, we missed you.
So good.
Yeah. But thank you, Mia, for holding down the fort. As always, I'm your host, Taylor Gates, and I'm joined by a full, lovely panel of wine lovers. To my left,
I'm Louisa. So happy to be here.
I'm Mia. Hi. I'm also happy to be here.
And I'm Chelsie. Love being here.
are you happy to be here?
Oh yes, and happy to be here. Love
Great.
and happy.
I'm also happy to be here in case my
Awesome.
giant smile didn't make that clear. This was such a good episode. But not only we're going to be breaking it down, we're also going to have our awesome special segment, Sweet or Bitter, where we're going to keep educating ourselves about the different kinds of wine and champagne and all of that good stuff, because the show always makes me want to grab a bite to eat and grab a drink. I don't know about you
Afterwards.
guys.
Yeah.
So true.
And then we'll also be having some news for you guys. So, yeah, it's going to be a great one. Stick around till the end. Before we break it down, I want to know, what were your guys' overall thoughts? Louisa, do you want to start?
Yeah, something was off. I feel like there's one main person in the kitchen that holds everything together, and in this episode we realized that person was falling apart or doing some stuff on purpose. So I feel like there was a big miscommunication with all of the workers today in the restaurant. So something was off for me. Yeah, that's what I felt.
I would say, to me, overall thoughts in this episode, behind every man is a woman. And that woman is literally Simone. She carries this restaurant on her back.
Literally.
I love to see it. We love to see
She
it.
bends over.
Oh, truly. And also just like to see all the moving parts. Like if one part, what I loved is, when Howard walked in, I thought it was going to be so clear it was wrong. But I love that for like a good 15 minutes, we as a viewer, Howard, like no one knew it was wrong. And it shows that if one little piece is out of whack, everything is crazy. And to see the beautiful shots with Santos in the beginning, all the dishes, the repetition.
That was awesome.
And then the servers profiting off of it. It's truly how the restaurant industry works. And I just thought this was the best episode yet. My favorite so far.
This was
for
a
sure.
good episode.
Yeah.
I always keep saying this because I always say, okay, each character we know a little bit more and more about. But with Simone, we learned so much about her. And I love it. She could be a boss when she needs to be a boss. And she really stepped up on the plate in this episode. And just like what you guys are bouncing off, what you guys are saying, yeah, communication is key. One little thing that can go wrong in the kitchen can go into a huge disaster. So yeah, this episode was my favorite, one of my favorites so far.
I totally agree, and I just wanted to give you a quick little background on the episode title, which is Entropy, which we were discussing before. We're like, I feel like we've heard that in science class, but I wanted to look it up and give you guys a little definition, which I think it makes so much sense with like the theme of the episode, which is the definition is a thermodynamic quantity representing the unavailability of a system's thermal energy for conversion into mechanical work, often interpreted as a degree of disorder or randomness in the system.
Clever.
So
Did that.
The
Who did
writing's
that?
on point.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, that's such a fun. I mean, I think that just is like, that says it all right there.
that took me back to
The
fifth
art
grade.
of
like,
naming episodes is
Yeah.
one we
yeah.
should explore one day.
and it's
That's
so
pretty cool.
deep. It's so deep.
Yeah.
And it was chaos. It's pure
Thanks for
chaos.
that, Taylor.
Of course, I was so
There-
curious.
There was randomness. It was like a circus.
Yeah. And we find out that kind of what sets all that off is sort of a chain reaction. Is we do get to follow Santos at the beginning, like you pointed out, Mia, which I really loved that because it was. I feel like we could just see how hard he was working, and I think that it was really smart to show us, the viewer, that, so we were kind of on his side, I guess, and on the side of the dishwashers, just to know, like, how much work they do and, like, how exhausting it must be. And so Howard decides that he is going to switch it up a little bit, and he's going to give 5% of all the tips to the dishwashers, which I mean, I felt like made a lot of sense. What, Chelsie, what was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, at first I was all for it because I feel like out of everyone, they're on the bottom pole.
Absolutely.
And then the cooks got mad, and then that's when everything just went chaotic. And I could kind of see their point, but when Simone pulled that one cook aside saying, I know exactly what you're doing. You have a 401k, you have benefits. Yes, these dishwasher people, they don't. So when she put into perspective like that, she's like, thousands of people be lining up to have your job. I was like, oh, that really hit me. So I kind of like that he did that. But again, it's so great with the show that people are able to come together at the end to make it work and do what they need to do. So with Simone, she was able to pull it together. Tess was able to pull it together in her own special way with Sasha, which I loved. But yeah, I think at the end, with each episode, even things get crazy and chaotic, that everyone is there for each other.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like Simone and Howard are almost the mom and dad of this show.
Yeah.
And like even like the way Simone acts, I'm like, oh, like mom's coming in, like you better get your stuff together.
That's so true.
But I agree. I loved how she kind of, did pull him aside. And I love how she knew right away who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Mia, what did you think of that? Did you like expect her? Do you think that she just is like an omnipresent presence there?
It was so funny too because she was like, I don't know what's going on, but you knew she knew from the beginning. Like it takes no time at all for her to figure it out. But also just Simone is a samurai with words. Like she has such a way. It's just so tasteful. She was so classy. She didn't get angry. Like she doesn't lose her temper like Howard. She keeps her cool, but she was blunt. She didn't beat around the bush, but she also was just so tasteful about it and classy. And I just, gosh, I love it. And also, I wanted to say about Howard, so as you guys know, like, huge fan of the book, but it's so funny because what he said when he was saying his speech about the tips, I wrote this down from the book because I loved it so much. He said running a restaurant is like setting a stage. The believability hinges on the details. We control how they experience the world. Sight, sound, taste, smell, touch. That starts at the door. And it was similar to what he said in the show, the writing that they did in the show, and it just goes to show this made, to me, this episode made Howard so much more likable.
Yeah.
He softened. You see that he was attentive, that he saw how hard Santos and all the dishwashers were working, and he rewarded them. And I feel like that was so out of character from what we've seen from him so far. So I was a huge fan of that. I was happy he did it.
Yeah.
I was happy he did it.
That's an awesome passage. I don't know how I feel about it. So I love how he noticed the hard work that Santos was putting in. That's awesome. And he realized, okay, 5% of tips should go to the dishwashers. I don't like how he said clients are irrelevant. It's like, it's great that, you should take care of your coworkers and everything, but clients come for an experience, for a luxurious experience. You're in New York, they pay, they bring dates, they bring wives and husbands, all of that. I don't know how I like how he placed that word irrelevant to experience it. But as far as Simone, it just shows a woman's most powerful weapon is her tongue.
Yes, that's good.
Her
That's
words,
good.
she can kill you with one word and just
So true.
drop everything down. But I don't know. I wish she kind of told the main guy. What was his name? The main cook. The
Benny. In this,
why are you doing this? Like, why didn't you do it sooner? It was so unprofessional. The clients were waiting. They were hungry. I get they're trying to make a point to Howard, but I'm all for the 5% tip. These guys are here, maybe illegally. I don't know what it is. It's so hard to live already. They have no insurance. They have no 401k. He was sweating, washing the dishes. It was very emotional.
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
Yeah.
I love that passage that you did share, and I think it's really interesting knowing what we know about him that we found out a couple episodes ago with him like having these like acting ambitions. So the fact that he like tied that in the book and then ties in Kabuki in this episode.
Yeah, good eye, Taylor.
I was just like,
Taylor.
I only noticed it when you said that passage, but they are making him such a more fleshed out character than I think he was. I feel like he was very mysterious in the first season, and now we're getting to know him so much more in good and bad ways, because I agree that yes, he softened a lot, towards the dishwashers, but he had a serious meltdown this episode too.
He did. Simone was screaming. She literally was holding him back. I don't think she's ever done that.
No.
It's so sad.
Yeah. And what I love about Simone is like she's able to keep this monotone.
Right.
Like what you were mentioning, she was just able to keep this cool. And with Howard, he's like, what's going on here? Just up and down, up and down. And she's just like, I'll take care of it. Pulls the person aside. I know it's you.
I want to know Howard's astrological sign.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't want to guess because I'm not going to offend anyone here on the show or watching. We love you
Gemini's
all. We love all the signs.
Maybe a Leo. Maybe he's a Leo.
I was going to say, oh my goodness. Yep.
Not judging
we don't
anyone
know.
here.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But one thing I want to add, I don't like how Sasha stole the forks. I am not liking Sasha at all. I get it. Your visa's almost up.
Last week though, he went through something so harsh, and I'm not saying that excuses it, but he is not in a good mental place.
Nope.
and they put him right back in. They're like, where's
Yeah.
Sasha? You're right, because Howard didn't even, it's funny he cares about the dishwashers, but he didn't care outside the restaurant. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
But maybe he needs to check in on Sasha and say, you need to take time to yourself rather than being like, where is he? Come back. Good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also, honestly, I think it might have been good that Tess had to be the one to, like...
That was funny.
That
make
was
out with them.
hilarious.
Because I don't think that Sasha listens to, like, higher-ups, though. I don't think Sasha cares about authority at all. I think he only cares about, like, his select circle of people, and the fact that, like, Tess is one of, like, the 2 people he probably trusts. I think, honestly, like, it was probably better coming from her.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the best way to do it was to kiss him. He was like, all right,
Yeah,
throw
no.
me here. Get away from me. Get away from me. But no, and that's what I love about Tess and Sasha. They just have such a great friendship, and she really does care for him, and it goes both ways. So when she knows that he's messing around, she's like, okay, I know it's you. Tell me the truth. So it just really highlights and it shows their bond that they have.
I agree. I do want to go back before we move on to different topics to talk about that last conversation between Simone and Howard, because we're building and building with those two, and I mean, like, the line that I think really got me was like, but where would you go? Where would either of us go?
That was good.
What does he mean? Did
I
you guys
have
any
goosebumps.
guesses?
Yes. Okay. So there's a whole different chapter we don't know about them. Their past, their identities, why they can't go somewhere else. I mean, Simone could easily go to another 5-star Manhattan restaurant. She's amazing. He can go run something else. So I don't know what it is yet, but I know there's a different chapter.
I think
read the book.
they're both alphas, and I think they like being in control, and I think they know that if you go somewhere else, they're going to be newbies. So it is
Like
kind of like
that?
their stuff. It is kind of like their stuff.
Okay, in that way.
But also, I think even reading between the lines, that line was so powerful. It already got me when he was like, but where would you go? And then when he did that second dagger, but where would either of us go? I think that was also his peace offering. That was his olive branch to say, you know, we're the same. Like, we both aren't going anywhere. We both know that. And I love that it ended on that note.
But
Oh,
something
such a good ending.
has to give. Like, something has to give, because every single episode they're picking at each other and they're making these snide comments. Like, I love Simone bringing up Becky. I was like, ooh, like, she went there.
Go off, Simone.
She went there. Yeah. But, and then he's, like, suspicious of her maybe, like, doing something to slow down service, which I think offended her a lot, because she does care about the guests, which... Yes, like you should. But I mean, that's just such a big difference between the two because they're so alike, but they have lots of different sort of mindsets too. So I don't know. I'm excited to see. We'll get into maybe more with predictions, but something's happening with those two.
Yeah, definitely.
And guys, lots of things are happening here at AfterBuzz too.
Yes. So this message is for you, viewers, listeners, to all of you taking the time to tune in. Thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. We are so blessed. We're so grateful to do what we do. And we want to grow. We want to grow as a platform. And the only way to do that is if you guys subscribe and comment and give us a 5-star rating, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. We love what we do, and we get to come here and share our life stories and excel in our skills. Shout out to Maria and Keven. We love you. And I always say this, we are a buffet of TV shows. There's a TV show for everyone, okay? So that's about it for now. Just subscribe, comment, show us love. We have our live chat up too.
Yes, we do.
And just let us thrive together.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
A gem.
Speaking of thriving, Will is thriving.
Oh, Team Will!
As a car salesman, that was so funny.
Stop. That's the promo.
That's so sad.
But yes, he's like, Howard is really, I think in this episode, he's just been finding the little people who have been, you know, working really hard and like impressing him. And in addition to Santos and the dishwashers, Will was one of those people. And Will I thought it was really interesting that he sort of confided in Will in a way early in the episode. And he was like, something is going on. We have to fix this. Mia, were you surprised that Howard chose, you know, Will to sort of be buddy-buddy with?
Yeah, and I will say that did not happen in the book, right? Like, this was not a thing in the book, so I can already see that the show is very different. I am Team Will.
Ooh.
I love Team Will.
Yes.
I truly am. I'll say it out loud for loud and proud. But I think that when I know that Howard was like, I was watching you, you handle it so smoothly. It takes a certain kind of person to handle it a certain kind of way. And I love that when he said they're doing the 5% payout, everyone was so mad. And Will's reaction, I wrote this down, he said, think of it as a tax. Because it is. These people are doing so much for you. And I was like, that's the spirit. This is why I'm Team Will. Tess, what are you doing? We'll get to that later.
Oh,
but he
know.
deserves it. He deserves everything coming his way. And more props to you, Will.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, though, too, because Howard's like, you don't fit in with your friends. And I was like, that was harsh. Like, maybe you didn't have to say that.
Because he's better than them.
I think it was a compliment.
His type A. He comes in, he clocks in, he eats his lunch, he clocks out. That's a good boy. You know, he has manners. Man, Tess. And he gives good oral sex.
Will all around. We love it.
Well, Will, we're a fan of Will. No, I think it's great that he is getting promoted up to a manager. Out of everyone, I think that's going to be good. It's going to be interesting how it's going to play off with Simone because she's been with that restaurant for a while. And even at the end, you know, Howard said, Simone, like, where are you going to go without me? Where are we going to go together? Yep. And then now it's kind of a slap in the face, you know, when she finds out, okay, you made Will a manager.
Do we know her exact position?
It
wouldn't be higher than Simone, I don't think.
I don't know.
Is Simone even a manager?
I don't think
it's very
She's
clear.
head waiter. Isn't she head waiter?
She's head waiter, but
everyone knows she's head beep, you know.
It's true.
Like, she doesn't need a title.
But manager is over a waitress because they have to manage the whole entire, like, she manages, like, the waitress.
I wonder if she'd want it, though. You know? Ooh, I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll save this for predictions. I don't want to keep speculating, but that's going to be so interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. Speaking of Simone, let's talk about her other plot line in this episode with the guest and her writing, which I thought was interesting. Kind of her we hadn't seen. There was her guest who was like talking her up to his guest about how she read this beautiful surreal piece, you know, like about a mermaid. And I thought it was interesting how Simone is so jaded where she like won't even take that compliment. Louisa, do you think that he meant it sincerely, or do you think Simone was right and that he's just kind of trying to like entertain his guests with this?
No, I think he meant it. I felt a nice connection in his eyes. There was honesty, and even though she's jaded and she said it's never a real invitation when she said that, no, I think she's just so scared to just give in and believe that maybe someone might view her other than a waitress, that she doesn't want to put her wall down and give it a chance. I think she's been screwed before, she's failed before, and she doesn't want to give it again. But Tess was right. You're here at a restaurant to meet people. A lot of people at restaurants are networking, and that's a big person on that table that wants to give you a chance. So I don't like her attitude where it's like, been there, done that. You know, no, change your mindset. This guy is clearly complimenting your work. So I think she's being a bit too, she's not being grateful for some experiences that might come to her.
I think that Simone is flattered, but I just think Simone is her own little brand, right? And I think it'd be very off-brand for her to come off as desperate, and I think that if she feels like she crosses that line, it's kind of desperate. And this was the exact line. She said, there is a line, and while you may be invited to cross it, it isn't real, which I was like, what? But it's kind of true, because, like, honestly, like, one time I was in Uber, remember, like, this girl was, like, telling me, she was like, oh, yeah, like, I'm writing a script and, like, doing all this, and I was like, oh, that's great, and I feel like she's pitching me, but you know what I know? It's like there's a line, and it's like, I want to help you, but, like, there's nothing I can really do, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's kind of a thing with, like, Hollywood and, like, New York is, like, you can present something to someone, you can say, yeah, like, let's do this thing, but then everybody kind of knows that there's, like, a line, and that, like, even though they may put it out there, it's still just kind of, like, it's a weird line to cross.
It's like politics. It's just being very political, saying things,
Yeah, not that it can't ever happen. I'm not saying that.
Totally.
Yeah.
But like Simone's quote just like sums it up perfectly.
That was good. It was the story that she wrote about that actually intrigued me. Like, it was about this little mermaid that fell in love with the boy, and then the boy broke her heart afterwards.
Killed her.
Did anyone kind of thought that was a metaphor for what she's kind of preparing Tess for with Jake? Because we're always wondering why Simone is so protective over Tess, and then she doesn't want her to get close to Jake. I don't know if it was it wasn't planned out, but what a coincidence that Tess happened to be at that table at that moment to hear that story.
Major.
You know, and then at the end too, when Simone was talking about like the invitation too, but the invite that she got to the party, I mean,
wow, I didn't even realize.
it goes back to back to back.
Yeah,
So in a way, I think she's kind of like,
and she wants to read it, and she's like, nope,
yes, don't want to read it.
you're not gonna read it.
I also wonder if it was a little bit of shade towards Tess because of her situation with Omar, the architect.
That too.
I was like,
That
ooh,
too.
like I wonder if she's like, I don't know if it's not exactly the same, but I was like, I feel like this could be a little bit of like, yeah, you should never like do that with people outside of work.
But she did it too, so maybe she's talking about it from experience.
True.
Like, I've been there.
Yeah, I've been there,
Don't
done
do
that.
it. So like she's such a hard person.
She's such a hard person.
She creates an eggshell environment. That's
Truly.
That's who she is. You have to just be careful and, you know, watch your actions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting subplot in this one. I think you're right. There's something with that story, like whether it's if it's, you know, Simone like losing her, you know, like shell or hardness and not trusting people anymore, or something with Jake, but like there's something to that because I don't think anything on this show is coincidence. I think the writing is very intentional. So maybe we'll, you know, see more of that start to play out. I also wanted to touch really, really briefly, because it was only a quick little moment in this episode, but Heather and the line cook. I'm so here for it.
They need to date already?
Yes.
I'm ready. Beautiful.
Yes, yes, we know.
He is handsome.
Louisa celebrity crush.
You guys definitely think that's going somewhere?
I really hope so. They
hope
like you said, the writing's intentional. They wouldn't drop their little encounters.
He called her
For no
privileged,
reason.
right?
I think they're almost playfully like insulting each
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of true. I mean, I think that was more like, other than like, I don't think it was a race thing. I think it was like a class thing. It's a separation between front of the house, which is servers, versus back of the house. And I think that's what he meant by that. I don't think he meant maybe he did mean in general because he went to an Ivy League. But like, you know, I think it had some double meaning. For sure.
Likes her.
I'm
likes her.
So excited to see more of them. 'Cause I love every time they talk. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Like,
Please
how
write this into the show.
She likes him too. Oh yeah, every girl acts like that, but she's looking at that.
Oh, she is.
Tall glass of milk.
Tall glass of milk?
Chocolate milk.
Drink it down.
We just coined that phrase here. You heard it here first. Just tall glass of chocolate
Just
milk.
beautiful. And he's like, I don't participate in politics, like restaurant politics or like all that. I'm not involved. So yeah, he said that.
Yeah, people who are definitely involved in restaurant politics are our girl Tess and Jake. So we find out that Jake and Rosalind are officially over for now, at least. Who even knows? Like that. Who even knows what Jake is doing? Who he's doing it with? When he's doing it? Like he's so unpredictable. He's so all over the place. But this guy Tommy comes and invites him to be a bartender at his basement party for like $1,000, which I was like, hell yes.
$1,000
I'll
for a
take
rent.
that.
Like, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Only
whoa.
half in New York, no?
Yeah, probably true. But it was interesting because Jake immediately like invites Tess, and I was like, "Are you guys on these good terms? Like, they're drinking during the shift. Like, how did we get here again?"
No, because the friend said, "Oh, who's that?" Right, and then Jake's like, this is not her scene." They have a few martini shots or whatever it is, and then he ends up inviting her. And of course, you know, Tess is gonna go like a little puppy following him. I love how she really took it to heart when he's like, "Don't come dressed like you're Idaho," or what's the Idaho?
Ohio. Because I feel called out every time it's said because I'm from Indiana.
Yeah, and so she goes to get an outfit and all of that. But if you're asking me, am I surprised? No, I think he's very still sexually attracted to her and wants to have sex with her, and she's gonna do it. Maybe not
Mia,
this episode.
What is this face?
I'm stewing. I'm disgusted. Jake is just, I hate him. He's so, the character. I hate him. He's bad news. Making Tess drink behind the bar, irresponsible. I'm just like a mother. I'm like, Tess, he's a bad influence.
And Simone noticed.
And then, And then he's done with Rosalind. Now he's on to Tess again. And you're right. She follows him like a little puppy. And I'll never forget when he said to her, he said, "You're a child."
Yeah.
And that was so rude, but you know what? And then I thought about it, I'm like, she is. I was so mad when she walked in. She was like, with Will and Howard, she was like, "Night boys." And she was just like showing off her outfit. And like everything she said to him, to Jake, was just repetition of what Ari said to her about the dress and everything, and like it just made me gag. And she's like, and then Jake was like, not tonight. She was like, not tonight. And I was like, what do you do? Just repeat what everyone tells you? She was acting like a child in this, and like, she was unlikable in this episode to me. But it's okay. That's why we like TV, because then like next episode I like her again.
I have to throw this in. I don't like how she didn't go for it. Like you got your dress
I love
on,
that.
You're not wearing any bra. Like you're not wearing your bra. You look hot and sexy. Go inside, have a good time with him. Why did
He's gonna be working.
Then why did she go?
I think that
He said not tonight because he didn't want to like.
Then why did he invite her to the party?
Because he's being Jake. He's being Jake. I was so happy.
I wonder if it's something too where he kind of has to prove to his friend that's going to be there, like, hey, she's mine, off limits, because they did make a point where his friend was like, who's that? She's like, don't worry about it, and then he does invite her. So if she did go to the party, I think Jake would make it very clear that, hey, she's mine.
Ooh, that's a good prediction.
I just don't know why she left. What was that such a game?
I think she's done with it. I think she's
He was playing her, and she noticed.
Oh.
It's part of her. She's learning. She's learning not to try to follow him. Like, she is following him, but at that end, she's like, no, I'm going to cut it off. Because if two could play that game. If he's going to say, oh, you know what? Not tonight. She's like, well, not tonight.
That Chelsea.
I thought the not tonight meant as in we're not going to hook up right now.
No, I think that she means she's done. That's how I interpreted it too. I was like, okay, fine. Like if we're gonna keep playing these little games with each other, I'm not doing it anymore.
But he was working. Of course, it's not going to be.
He came on to her.
Yeah,
they just made.
Am I seeing things?
And she said,
I'm working.
and she said, don't stop. But of course, they're going to go to work. They could have continued.
It's not work though. It's like another little job.
They could have continued everything after when he got home. Something was
whatever.
off.
She shouldn't have to wait on him.
But
She's
he
done that
did
long enough.
say I'm working. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, but
I love
He's
how everyone.
playing
I mean,
her.
you're like, yeah, I agree. I think he's playing her, and I don't think that she's gonna be done with him. But we'll save that for predictions too.
That was the only good thing she did this episode. Period.
I mean, you're not wrong. I agree. But okay, I would also want to talk about the dress scene because I thought that was so iconic.
Yeah.
With Ari helping her find it in the Lost and Found. Like, I am Team Ari, and I felt chemistry between them. I don't know if I'm just seeing things, but I felt it.
yeah.
I'm here for that.
I was like,
Well, she loves her nipples.
I mean,
I could kind of say,
she's
yeah,
cute.
that was a good scene. Who knows? See, this is why I love this show so much, is because Tess is going with her journey. She's experiencing different things. So you never know where that relationship could blossom a little bit. She might be like, you know what? I'm done with Jake and boys right
Let me
now.
hook up.
Let's go the opposite way.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, all for it.
I like that though because Ari is like, Ari's the wild friend, like very clearly for Tess, and I like that she kind of, like sometimes they do drugs and like do things they shouldn't do. But it's like she's like been an interesting guide and like is a fun girlfriend to have because Simone's not gonna be the average like let's go out and party. She's like let's drink wine by the fireplace.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of friend.
She's like a different like kind of role model in her life. Not role model, but like woman to look up to.
Yeah.
And it's for certain reasons, other reasons, I guess.
Yeah, you need all different kinds of people to surround yourself with.
Absolutely. Buffet.
A buffet. I love it. Well, that finishes off the the breakdown of our episode. But we have an amazing special segment, Louisa.
Welcome to my special segment, Sweet or Bitter. And tonight's topic was...
that scared me this time.
Yes, tonight's topic was obviously champagne. They drank it, they ordered it, and all of that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to describe to you guys what champagne actually is and where it comes from and what it has to kind of go through to be champagne. And also I want to share some quotes from famous people who just love champagne. So we have Dom Perignon right there. And Dom Perignon, till this day, he's the person known for discovering champagne. He's still the person. Okay, so champagne is basically sparkling wine that comes from the Champagne region in northeastern France. So if it's not made there, it can't be champagne. If it's made anywhere else in the world, it's called sparkling wine. So it has to come from the Champagne region. This is true because when I went to Europe a few years ago, I wanted to book a tour in Champagne. They don't always do it every year, but Veuve de Queue, the amazing champagne castle is there. I want to say castle. You can buy tickets to discover how that champagne is made there, and it's exactly at the Champagne region. So if it's made in the Champagne region, then you can call it champagne. If it's made in California or whatever, it's sparkling wine.
Yep,
That's really
Yep.
cool.
And it's because it's champagne is basically very tiny fine bubbles that's integrated into the wine, and that's how it's made champagne. Otherwise, it can just be wine.
So they inject the bubbles.
Yep.
into-
To be
I
very,
want to know
very
how they do that.
right. We'll go to Paris and we'll figure out how.
Let's go.
Not
Let's
Paris,
do it.
Champagne.
All right,
but
field trip.
northeastern France.
AfterBuzz. Just kidding.
Right?
Sponsor us. Thank you.
You know,
And I just want to share a few quotes by really famous people who were amazing champagne drinkers, okay?
Ooh.
And one of the three really stuck out to me. One is by Winston Churchill. He said, "Remember, gentlemen, it's not just France we are fighting for. It's champagne."
Ooh.
That's going on my tombstone.
that's
Right?
good.
That's
Twitter
fantastic.
bio.
That's all
Please.
80 years later, though.
Yeah.
True.
And then Come Quickly, I Am Tasting the Stars. That's by Don Perignon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going on my
Yeah,
Tumblr.
Come Quickly, I Am
Just like we're gonna put
Oh my
this
god.
tattooed on my body.
Tasting the Stars.
I'm dazzled by that quote. That's a good
Right?
one.
And then this one over here, well, we have our basic one by Chanel. We've seen this on Tumblr.
We love basic.
I only drink champagne on 2 occasions: when I am in love and when I am not.
No.
I like that a lot.
It's not basic. I've seen that before. This one though, oh my god, my favorite one, right over here, by Madame de Pompadour. Champagne is the only wine that leaves a woman beautiful after drinking it.
Ooh.
Let's test that out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Let's see.
Oh gosh. Okay, one more and that's it. Sorry. I'll drink your champagne. I'll drink every drop of it. I don't care if it kills me. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Oh yeah, that's
Wow.
That's good.
And then Great Gatsby.
There you
yes.
go. That's your champagne.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
that. Of course.
Now I want to pop a bottle right
Yeah.
Seriously.
Seriously have to.
now. I love
Just
it.
a gun
Yeah.
secret right there.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We
Of
also have some news.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, for our news this week, creator of the show, Stephanie Danler, was asked in an interview, in terms of the world building, how did you approach the second season of Sweetbitter? Did you want to expand the scope of the show? She responded, "I'm so proud of last season, but when I signed on to the television series, what I wanted to do was push beyond the book. I think the reason that a restaurant is interesting ecosystem is the number of different people you have under one roof on a given evening. With Tess, we get to explore more of her journey, which you don't get to see in only 6 episodes of the first season. So in season 2, we are seeing how Tess is becoming more developed in her journey, which we are seeing in each episode, especially for tonight.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of development with Tess and how she's kind of starting to cut off with Jake, but then starting to kind of experience with something else. You never know. So yeah.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank
That's-
you.
Stephanie, we
that.
love your writing.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thank
blessing
you.
us.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you.
I think it really shines through the fact that like we're delving so much deeper into all of these characters, like not just Tess, but like everyone is getting so much more fleshed out. We're getting so much more just like plot. Like we're seeing different sides of Howard. We're seeing different sides of Simone, and I think it's just been so much fun to watch so far.
Yes,
Incredible
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but we have I think 3 more episodes of this season. Let's go into some predictions to see.
Oh.
Sorry, before we go right into predictions, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of news on our end for you guys that you haven't heard. We got a DM on our AfterBuzz Instagram from Kenlyn Wrights that says, "Thanks for the great segment on Sweetbitter. We loved hearing your analysis and your fun wine segment. Glad you're enjoying the show. Kenlyn, consulting producer, writer of Last of the Season."
Yes.
Panic now.
Oh, wow.
Gosh,
Go on,
come
next
in
episode.
anytime. Yes.
We're bringing champagne.
Yes.
With the
Don
fuse bubble.
Perignon. Don Perignon, though, the good stuff.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Oh.
thanks, Brie, for sharing that. That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Brie. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is so
We are
awesome.
so lucky to be here.
We are.
Yeah,
Honestly,
we're
yeah.
so lucky.
blessed.
Well, yeah, we do have 3 more episodes, which I'm very excited about, and then hopefully season 3 and 4
Oh,
and 5, and we'll keep it
hopefully,
going.
yeah.
But Chelsea, where do you think that we're gonna go in these next couple episodes.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I said this before, and I really want to see if they're going to expand in Tess and her mom. I'm waiting for her mom to make an appearance. So I'm hoping, since we only have 3 episodes left, that can happen because that's going to still tie in with the plot and with her, you know, still in her identity and stuff. So I kind of want that to come into play. Of course, we're going to see more Jake and Tess, of course. And I think I want Tess to be a little bit more, you know, not following him around.
Yeah.
You know, she's going to put her foot down. And I think with Jake, he's going to start liking that. And that's when he's probably going to start making a move on her because he always likes to go the opposite way with things.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think that, on the other hand, well, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand, but I think that Jake and Tessa are gonna totally just like,
Oh yeah.
they're gonna fall back into each other for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And then I also think, unfortunately, because you know I'm Team Will, but I don't think that they're gonna like him as manager. I think he's gonna kind of put his foot down.
Yeah.
Like I think Simone is very like again like smooth with her words, but I think Will is gonna be like he's gonna just have some learning pains in that, and I don't think they're gonna like that. Still Team Will though. And then I also think that Ari and Tess are gonna something's gonna happen there. Please give it to us. We need this plot. Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something's gonna go down with Ari and Tess. They're gonna experiment. She's gonna experience some new heights in her feminine life. And Will, we saw a bit of a preview that they're not taking him seriously because it's like, and usually that's how corporate companies are. Not corporate companies, but companies, once you turn into a manager, they send you to a different location to get beefed up and cut your teeth, and then you come back. But when you get promoted in your same store, no one takes you seriously because you're at the same level still.
Yeah.
So he's going through that, and he looks like a Carl salesman, right? He looks like like he works at the one on in North Hollywood.
I hate that I couldn't knew which one you were talking about. I was like,
yeah, I know. No offense to anyone, but that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
And then, oh gosh, Tess and Jake are totally hooking up.
Yeah.
We've all been there. You can't get rid of them. You still like them. When they text you, you still respond back. I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that we are going to see more of Simone's past continue to kind of unravel and get more glimpses of that. I think her ex-husband might be coming into the mix again.
That'll be good.
I just think that we're going to have to see him, and I think it's going to break her. I think maybe that's like her one weak spot because she does not want to talk about it, obviously.
that scene I just realized gave me Scandal vibes in the preview. Anybody?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry.
That man was the owner of the restaurant, right?
Dude, I don't think we know.
That's
I don't
what
think
they
we know
said,
yet.
Like, that's the owner of the restaurant. Then Tess goes up to the
we
room.
already met her. It was that,
I think was it her ex-husband?
It was
I
Maddie.
feel like it was her.
Oh,
yeah,
is that
Maddie's
what
the
they
owner.
said? They
Yeah.
No, but
Well,
I think that the man was her ex-husband.
Maddie's a head chef. Why do I feel like one of
Maddie
the...
owns it, too.
And owns it. Oh.
She owns it and then came back, and then she's like, they aren't running it like I want. I'm the head
So I
chef
wonder-
now.
Yeah.
But Scott's back.
Oh, I wonder who this man is then, the ex-husband.
I think it's the ex.
ex-husband.
Okay, okay.
And I also think that I hope at least we get to see more of Heather and the line cook because I don't know.
Yes.
I don't
We
know.
like
if
that.
his
We're
name
here
is.
for that. We're here
We
for
need more
that.
plots for Heather. It can't be the only one about race. We gotta add something else in for her, and we want it to be the line cook.
Yes, writers,
Yes.
listen to
Yes.
me.
Yes.
We're here for that.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people the one.
Yes.
And thank you.
Guys, this was
Kindly.
so much fun.
Yes.
I love talking about
so
this every
much
week
fun.
with
I
you
know.
guys.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you guys for joining us. But if you want to keep continuing this conversation, we would love to hear from you. Don't forget to comment, and then also, where can they find you guys on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Chelsie Overocker and on Twitter at Chelsie Overocker.
You can find me on Instagram at yours truly Mia, Twitter at Hot Mess Mia, and I have a YouTube channel. I'll comment below.
You can find me on Instagram at Louisa Sharamatyan and on Twitter at Lou Sharamatyan.
You guys can find me on Twitter at alphabet_Ann and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Keven Undergaro and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.